you're free. And freedom is beautiful. And, it'll take time to restore chaos and order, order out of chaos, but we will.
Many people make fun of conspiracy theorists for like numerology, and they think that it's us that are obsessed with numbers, but it's actually the enemy who is constantly hiding and coding information based on numerology. This Russian vid's always used the gematria calculator, and I wanted to make a connection to Pythagoras, but watch this real quick.
Pythagorean numerology, and this order out of chaos logo, and the 33, and this is basically, again, the diamond sign, just like you see, many people have seen with Angela Merkel. This is why she's doing it. This is how Masons communicate. She's basically showing the number 33.
Now look at her hands. Look at her hands right there. That's obviously not just resting diamond shape. But anyway, I want to make a connection to Pythagoras. Pythagoras is very famous for his numerology. It says his political and religious teachings were well known in Magna Graecia and influenced the philosophies of Plato, Aristotle, and through them, Western philosophy. So I'd say he's pretty influential, wouldn't you say? He's saying the teaching most securely identified with Pythagoras is metempsychosis, or the transmigration of souls, which holds that every soul is immortal and upon death enters into a new body. I want to bring this scripture up specifically to Pythagoras. It says, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter time some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats, which God hath created to be received with thanksgiving, of them which believe and know the truth." So it says doctrines of devils will tell you to abstain from eating meats, correct? This is Pythagoras on vegetarianism. It says he delivers a speech imploring his followers to adhere to a strictly vegetarian diet. It was through Arthur Golding's 1567 English translation of Ovid Metamorphoses that Pythagoras was best known to English speakers throughout the early modern period. Until the word vegetarianism was coined in the 1840s, vegetarians were referred to in English as Pythagoreans, to the Pythagorean diet. So he was a vegetarian, and he was teaching doctrines to some of the most influential people in our culture, and who many people deny Christ because of. Early modern European esotericism drew heavily on the teachings of Pythagoras. The German humanist scholar Johannes Reuchlin synthesized Pythagoreanism with Christian theology and Jewish Kabbalah, arguing that Kabbalah and Pythagoreanism were both inspired by Mosaic tradition, and that Pythagoras was therefore a Kabbalist. Pythagoras' mystical numerology operates on a super-celestial level. The Freemasons deliberately modeled their society on the community founded by Pythagoras at Croton. Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, was a strong admirer of Pythagoras. In his book Pythagoras, he advocated that society should be reformed to more like Pythagoras' commune at Croton. So besides the Kabbalah part and everything, Pythagoras also ran a commune. It says both Plato and Isocrates state that above all else, Pythagoras was known as the founder of the new way of life. The organization Pythagoras founded at Croton was called a school, but in many ways resembled a monastery. The adherents were bound by a vow to Pythagoras and each other for the purpose of pursuing the religious and aesthetic observances and of studying his religious and philosophical theories. The members of the secret shared all their possessions in common and were devoted to each other to the exclusion of outsiders. Both Iamblichus and Porphyry provide detailed accounts of the organization of the school, although the primary interest of both writers is not historical accuracy, but rather to present Pythagoras as a divine figure sent by the gods to benefit humankind. Iamblichus, in particular, presents the Pythagorean way of life as a pagan alternative to the Christian monistic communities of his own time. Pythagorean teachings were known as symbols, and members took a vow of silence that they would not reveal these symbols to non-members. Those who did not obey the laws of the community were expelled, and the remaining members would erect tombstones for them as though they had died. Pythagoras was said to have practiced divination and prophecy. In the visits to various places in Greece, which are ascribed to him, he usually appears either in his religious or priestly guise, or else as a lawgiver. According to Aristotle, the Pythagoreans used mathematics for solely mystical reasons, devoid of practical application. They believed that all things were made of numbers. So let's recap about this silence. It says, those who did not obey the laws of the community were expelled. It says, members took a vow of silence, that they would not reveal these symbols to non-members. What are we always talking about? Symbols. And it says, they pretended, and the remaining members would erect tombstones for them as though they died. So secrecy was obviously very important in this commune. Well, what has every religious cult leader in history done? They've created communes, right? That separated themselves from the rest of society. Pythagoras was a cult member, okay? And what is Charles Darwin doing right here? It's the finger of silence, right? You know, why do celebrities tattoo the sh symbol on their fingers, right? What do you think? It's just because they like they like that symbol? And I mean, who does that? Have you ever seen anybody with a tattoo like that in your life? You know? Well, look at this. In the Oklahoma Masonic Lodge, this figure is supposedly reminding visitors to be quiet. However, the finger over the mouth is a symbol. It doesn't go on, but look at this. You know, this is in a Mason lodge, and throughout history, Masons have been controlling our world, right? Order out of chaos. Charles Darwin, best known for his contributions to the science of evolution. Imagine that. The single most important man in our history. A man that many people throw in my face, saying, oh, you don't believe in evolution? You don't believe in science? These are theories that people have been indoctrinated with from occultists who do have a divination type power through these occult practices. So of course you're going to get information from the other side. That's what this is all about. The knowledge that the serpent can provide and that many are tapping into. You think they just believe without seeing anything? These people are occultists because they experience supernatural events and information flows through them. These people aren't just making this stuff up, okay? These people aren't just dancing around out in the woods for no reason. You know, these people have a purpose, and the purpose is to deceive everyone. You know, like it said earlier, it's an alternative from the Christian lifestyle. It's a pagan alternative, okay? They're turning you away from the Christian religion, from the truth. The Jesus Christ is the truth, the only truth that you'll find in this world. And I wanted to make one more connection. You know, what he was talking about here, I found this interesting.
33, clearly the same exact sign. Now, I mentioned this before, how they communicate without speaking. And this is from a Masonic encyclopedia, where it states, out of evil comes good, however, and the confusion of tongues gave rise to the ancient practice of Masons conversing without the use of speech. So this is why you see these people spotlighted, for example, like I showed earlier.
No, I don't care about Matt Damon. What he was talking about, though, is this stuck out at me. I was reading the Bible the other day, and this came up, this scripture, and I haven't heard anybody else talk about it. Romans 3:8, and not rather as we be slanderously reported, and as some affirm that we say, let us do evil that good may come, whose damnation is just. So, let us do evil that good may come. We've all heard, woe to them that call evil good and good evil, but this one stuck out because it's basically saying order out of chaos, or the outcome justifies the deed. This is the Washington monument or arch, Washington Arch, that's based off the Arch of Titus, going back to the days of Jerusalem, days of Jesus. I could we could do a lot more studying on that, but I'm going to try to make this short. This is behind George Washington on this arch. It says Exodus Acta Probat. And that means the outcome justifies the deed. All right. This is basically order out of chaos. So they cause the chaos, then they give us a solution, and the outcome for them is worth the destruction that they caused. Okay. That is what this is all about. Order out of chaos. And that is what they're doing here. Let us do evil that good may come. They think they're doing good from doing evil. So Jesus is the way out of here. I pray that you're seeing these connections, and I pray that you understand that these deceivers are far more clever than we give them credit for. God bless you.